we both came here in 2020 with the pandemic. I hosted a meeting with other Mexican girls, and we were all sharing the challenges that we had, and we all felt alone. Women are a group of people who has been discriminated throughout history. There is no religion, no political party, no system that actually supports us. So the people who have to support each other is us.
NIWA has always been like a self-sufficient non-profit NGO. We have never received any funding, but we hope to.
Public funding.
Public funding, yes. We are living our dream life and we are setting ourselves goals that we want to achieve. And we are not embarrassed. We are not scared of making mistakes.
Estefania and Rebecca, thank you very much for coming to the Naked Thoughts podcast. Naked Thoughts is a podcast where we talk about the challenges, the mental challenges, as well as the practical challenges of founders. So I'm very glad to have you here. Since you founded NIWA, the network of international women in Austria. I want to start with, if someone would meet you outside of NIWA, what would you want them to understand about you?
I would say, so hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Spanos. Because I build spaces for people around tables, but also on stage, I want people to feel more capable and curious with everything that I do. And something that I would love for people to understand about me is that I'm rarely embarrassed. And I hope they see that.
For me, outside of NIWA, it's funny because I try to be a very intentional person. So that means that all of the things that I do and all of the decisions that I make lead to the same thing. So understanding me outside of NIWA, it's still understanding NIWA and understanding me within it. So all of the things I do lead there. So if I describe myself outside of NIWA, it would still be related to that. And one of the things that I think I appreciate about myself the most that I would like to convey to people is confidence and just the drive to go where I want to go and achieve the things that I want to achieve.
How have you been doing lately? Also besides from work?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great. Last year was very, very challenging in so many ways, but we started this year with a punch. We are doing, I have to talk about work because that's 80% of my life. And I love it. It's not a complaint. But we have a big event coming up soon, 7th of 8th of March from NIWA. And also I got recently promoted at my corporate job that I do full time. Oh. And I have my side business, which is career mentorship. So everything is a lot, but I'm very happy about it and trying to make it happen. Yeah.
How it doesn't feel it doesn't feel like stress since you are such aligned with what you do.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to be intentional.
Yeah. I also feel very great and very grateful. Like very much like Estefania said, last year was quite an up and down kind of year. And this year, thank you to the Lunar New Year, Year of the Horse, everything. Yes, fireworks.
It's so often to be.
Yeah, but I really want to like embrace everything that comes my way. Yes. It's been so far a year full of opportunities, great opportunities. That also means that they all kind of showed up at the same time, those opportunities. So I'm very grateful, I'm very happy, but I'm also a little bit overwhelmed. And I think that's normal and also kind of important to share with people because maybe online you see just the positive sides and, oh, look, I'm smiling and look, I'm here. Yeah. But you don't always see the behind the scenes. And
that's so important.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that because that was one of the reasons why I kind of started all of this, because when you go on LinkedIn and on Instagram, you see like, Forbes 30 under 30 and raised X millions of euros. So you kind of feel, kind of the pressure, feel behind you. I really like that you mentioned that. Maybe you can explain a bit what what NIWA exactly is about, since we are talking already about it. And how did you came up with the idea, and maybe also your journey behind that?
Mm-hmm. I can start in the with it. Yeah, so it all started because we both came here in 2020 with the pandemic. So it is already very challenging to move to a new country. It is already challenging to move to Austria. Let's be real about that. And in the middle of a pandemic, it just keeps adding layers and layers of complexity. Yeah. So it was 1 year in which I'm a very extroverted person, and I'm a very people's person, that I need to be with people. And I didn't make any friends. Yes, it was a pandemic, but still there were some chances, and I could just not make friends for the first time in my life. And I couldn't learn German as fast as I wanted, which was in 1 month. I wanted to be Z2. Bureaucracy is awful. It has improved. I have to agree with that. But it was just like a series of things happening. In 2021, we have already met each other. Yes, we met in March 2021. We were working together. And then I hosted a reunion, like a meeting, not a reunion. I hosted a meeting with other Mexican girls just for fun. And they came, and all of us were sitting around the table, and we were all sharing the challenges that we had. One had some issues with COVID and her heart, and the insurance was not covering it because she didn't have the visa yet. Another one had a child and wanted to divorce, but didn't know how to do it because the dad was Austrian, and there's not a lot of rights for us if we don't have the passport. And I also had my own challenges with my residence permit, and so on and so forth. So, and we all felt alone. And that's the most important thing. We all felt alone. The girl who wanted to divorce, for example, she was like, if I divorce, where am I going? I'm not going to my mom's house. I'm not going to my friend's house. Where am I taking my child? And I told her, you can come to me. Like, I know you just met me today, but if we don't support each other, no one is going to support us. Women are a group of people who has been discriminated throughout history. There is no religion, no political party, no system that actually supports us. So the people who have to support each other is us. So that's why I decided to start something. So I looked around, I asked around, and I saw that I could create an organization, a Verein. And I said, why not? Again, we were talking about this previously, like, and maybe you will ask something related to that, but I'm just going to drop it. I don't have imposter syndrome. I'm like, I have the opposite of whatever imposter syndrome is. I think I can do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. Maybe it will take me some time to get there. And I always think about like what would be the most difficult thing for me to do. And that is singing, because I'm a very bad singer. But if I wanted, I could do it. It would take me some time, but I could do it. The same thing is like, I was like, okay, I'm just going to make an organization. Something that has evolved in me, thank God, is that I started asking for help. So Rebecca was there, and I told her, look, I have this idea. It's called Network of International Women in Austria. I made this very shitty website, very shitty logo on Canva. Our logo was so shitty at the beginning, obviously.
I mean,
and then I told her, do you want to do this with me? And she said, yes, like in 2 seconds. And I was like, but are you like, when I say doing, I mean actually doing. Like, it's not for funsies. It's not like, it's a serious thing. She was like, yes, I already said yes. I was like, okay, I'm not used to people being so committed. Yeah. And that's how it started. And now you can talk about it more.
Yes. So I feel like we didn't really have an idea of how big it was going to end up being. We just wanted to gather as many resources as possible in the hopes that someone stumbles upon them and we can help those women live a fulfilling life in Austria, and giving them all the tools that they required. So we started with writing blog posts about how you can...
Translating stuff.
Yes. Yeah. How you can get your e-card, how you should... Like a checklist for everything you should do before moving to Austria. A checklist for how you should move apartments when you're in Austria and things like that. And within the first month, we didn't have a lot of followers. We didn't have a lot of traction, but we got somehow so many people, so many women particularly wrote to us that they want to help us. It was just me and Estefania at the beginning doing social media, creating the logo, writing the blog posts, updating the website. And then we got an influx of mostly students that were international, some Austrian as well, that wanted to help us on this journey. And that's when we realized, okay, we can grow a team. People want this, people need this, and we can actually build a really, really impactful and meaningful community for women in Austria and abroad, to be honest. Very happy.
Yeah.
And now it's bigger than ever.
And it grew, of course. This is something that we do at my normal day-to-day job, is this philosophy, the Skateboard philosophy. So you start with, if you want to go somewhere and you need a car, you don't start with a car because maybe you don't have the money to get it, right? So you start with a skateboard. It has wheels. It has a structure to move you. Then you get a bike, then you get a motorcycle, and then you get a car. But you don't start moving only once you have the car, because otherwise you will never move. And that's what we did with NIWA. Like, we started with like most chaotic, random things. And then it started like shaping itself. So we started and we would do like dance classes, and we just wanted something, you know. And as it moved, we realized that there was a particular need for professional development and networking. So we started shaping the organization to go to those goals. So now we have 4 pillars, which is professional development, job market integration, financial literacy, and networking.
No, that's so helpful, I guess, because, I mean, like you said, and you moved to a new country and you're completely overwhelmed with all kind of stuff, bureaucracy, and also like getting to know new people. And so I guess this was really something that didn't exist back then, right?
It didn't exist,
especially for women.
Yeah, it didn't exist as it is right now. And I always say that we created the thing that we would like to have had when we moved here. So because I Googled network of women, support women, something like that, mentors, like how do I find a job? What am I doing wrong? Why is my CV not working? So those things that we Googled and didn't find, we created them.
Was there something that felt misaligned in your private life so that you had to create something or be more creative?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like a lot of women, especially migrant women who move to Austria, but also any country, at the beginning, it's quite difficult to find the right job. So we met at our first job in Austria, and that could have been better. In the sense that we managed to contribute to the business and to the organization significantly by making a lot of money for the company, millions and millions of euros actually, and we were not getting fairly compensated for that work. So that's one thing that I think really helped us and gave us that extra motivation, extra drive, which we already kind of are born with. And took NIWA to the next level, because we didn't want anyone to face those same challenges as we did. That's what NIWA is about.
So did you always see yourself as founders?
No. It's so funny because everyone saw me as founder and I didn't see it until I did it. And even a lot of people told me, you should start your own thing. And I was like, no, like, what are you talking about? And then I started, but I was not even thinking that I was starting something so big. And I think for both of us it's the same, because I mean, we talk 24/7. One of the things that we discussed, I think last year maybe, was that we were just, I always say that I am like a horse that has these things here and just goes and goes and goes and goes, which is good, but also sometimes it just stops you from taking a break, looking around and enjoying the things that you have built. So last year and 2024 at the end, so many people were like, do you realize that what you're doing And we were like, what do you mean? No, we have to do this, A, B, Z, D. Like, and then we were like, okay, we have to take a break and we have to realize that we have done something very good. We started asking for feedback as well from our volunteers and from community members. And there were people telling us that NIWA changed their lives. And that was like, still to this day, I'm like, wow, like it's crazy. So I didn't see that because for me, I just have to do what I have to do. And in this case, founding was what I had to do. Mm.
What did the early days of NIWA look like emotionally, financially? How did it start?
Okay, emotionally fantastic, I would say, because we took so just to say, NIWA is an organization that we are capable and able of growing. This is something that we do in our spare time, and this is what our team of volunteers do in their spare time. Time is extremely precious, and they help us so much. We put in so much effort for this organization so that we can help other women. And that has always been our motivation, just helping as much as possible. And so in the early days, we would set aside every weekend or every Saturday at least, try a new cafe or new place in town, and sit on our laptops and kind of, write the Statuten, see what direction we want to go to, what kind of events we want to achieve. And this was at the very early stages when we didn't have a team yet. So we had started the brainstorming process in June, and then by July we had launched, and by September we had a team. Yep. It was our first time ever managing a team of volunteers, and that was really interesting and kind of a learning curve as well, because everyone is there doing it voluntarily. So you have to find a way to convey your goals without being too strict or too friendly, or finding that line in between, because we appreciate absolutely everyone that was in our team, that has been in our team, that is in our team, because we've had help from so many wonderful, wonderful women in the past and presently. Yes. And yes, it was great because we learned so much. We were able to make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, do better. And financially, it's funny you ask, because NIWA has always been like a self-sufficient non-profit NGO. We have never received any funding, but we hope to.
Public funding,
yes. So that's something that we still want to work on and try to achieve. But it's proven very successful even without the public funding. It would just...
At the beginning, we paid for everything. Yeah. We paid for the website, for the registration, the events occasions. We lost money because people would not register. Would register and then don't come, and we needed to change our business model, evaluate things. So we paid for ads, for designers, for merch, for... So now it's self-sufficient, it's sustainable. Again, it's a non-profit, which people think that means that no one actually ever gets paid, or like we have to put our money on it. No, it means that all the profit goes back into the organization. And this is what is going on now. Like, thank God we're now able to not take money out of our pockets in there. Yeah.
Since you mentioned, you were growing pretty quickly and building a team. How did you manage, like, that? I guess you had certain expectations, how it should look like, how the event should go and everything. And the people who are volunteering, how did you manage them?
We normally communicate via email or through WhatsApp channels or WhatsApp chats. We had a very small team to begin with, about 5-6 volunteers, and each person had a different role: finance, administration, social media, and marketing, more or less. And we would have a meeting every 2 weeks or so to kind of set the scene, give the goals that we want to achieve, allow questions to be asked if anything was unclear, and follow up along there. Now our team is around 20 people. We also have a fantastic board that help us with strategic decisions. And there we also have separate WhatsApp groups for each different team. We communicate a lot via email. We have channels like Notion or the Google workspace, and we work from there. And something that we try to do as much as possible is tell our team, if you have any concerns whatsoever, if you're unhappy, if you're stressed, if you're super happy, if you're going on holiday, you can share any kind of concern or thought or happy feeling with us, and we will always support you, and we will help you and guide you in with whatever it is that you want to do. We're a very open team. The communication is great, and everyone is quite comfortable to say what they really think. And I think that's really important in a dynamic like ours.
Yeah, you need to make sure that people share the same values you have in every organization, but in an NGO where you don't pay people, that's the most important thing. If they don't have the same, because that's what drives everyone in the organization, sharing the same values. In this case, it is helping people like we are, like immigrant women and all those things. But we really, really need to find and refine the search for very, very independent, proactive people, because as we said, this is done in our free time. And managing people is already a job by itself. Yes. So if we spend all of our free time managing them, then we will not have time for any ideas, strategic things, nothing. So we need to have people in our team that are able to manage themselves. And that you can only find by meeting them, working with them, and analyzing how they do it, and then evaluating if it's a fit or not. That's the only way to do it. There, in an interview, you can see some things, but only when working with people, you are able to see. So not paying anyone, including us, is a good thing in the sense that you don't spend a budget in hiring and testing people. But also you need to accept that they will not be devoting their time to you fully, because that's how life is. Yeah.
You invited the people to work with you, and then after some time, you saw how it was going.
Yeah, definitely.
What advice would you give? You mentioned the values, but what advice would you give to people who want to hire?
You're asking me a very deep question, because I work in HR. That's actually my full-time job. And I'm very technical in that regard. So we, for example, have a values table in which we say, is this person sharing our values? Of course, it also has to do with experience. Then you meet them and I don't know if this is a female thing, but we feel with our intuition if someone is good or not. And you can definitely feel it. You can think like, oh my God, this person has a very good vibe. They share our values. They say they share your values. That's important. And they say they have this experience. So I think that's the most important. First of all, you need clarity. And I say this, if anyone has had a mentoring session with me and it's saying this podcast, we'll be like, because I say clarity and intentionality every single day, like 15 times. You need clarity to know which your values are.
Yeah.
You always hire people. Everyone always hires people who are like them. This is why there are so many men hiring men. It's also biased. So you hire people who are like you. So if you don't know who you are and you don't know where you're going, you cannot find people who know who they are and their values and match them with where you're going. So clarity is the first thing that I recommend.
I would listen to the expert in HR.
Since you mentioned values that often, how would you describe the values of NIWA or of yourself?
Do you want to know?
They are very aligned.
We have empathy, kindness, collaboration, high standards in the sense that we deliver quality events. We prefer to have few people, but a good event. We prefer to take our time and maybe not launch an event in 2 months and rather wait and launch something that is good and that is valuable to people. And openness. It's very important to us. One of the things people really like when they come to our events is that we always are smiling and we always say hi. And we talk to everyone as if they were a friend from years. So that is one of the most important things that we have. But empathy, kindness, and openness are very, very important to us.
Because things can change pretty quickly for anyone in any kind of situation, not just in our organization, but also in life. So it's important to keep like a positive as possible mindset and to be open to anything, to asking questions, to receiving feedback, to challenges, to new things.
And being able to handle ambiguity is very important as well. I would say for everything in this world. Resilience, and that if you get something handed to you, you take it and you analyze how you can use it instead of saying, this is not what I wanted, goodbye. Like, that's important. Yeah.
What surprised you the most about running a company or an organization?
As we mentioned previously, we had for NIWA so many people wanting to help us. At the same time, we had some instances where people did not want to help us and did not find they regarded our collaboration as competition. And that's something that we as NIWA don't believe in, and us personally, we don't believe in either. As my 9-to-5 job, so to say, I'm a private chef and recipe developer, and I focus on vegetarian food and vegan food. And I've been self-employed for around 2 years now. So I've been doing NIWA and being self-employed and seeing kind of the contrast, but also the similarities in how people treat you once you've founded something is pretty interesting. I say that because I've received so much amazing feedback by my friends, family, and strangers for both organizations, but I've also lost a lot of friends. And something that I learned is that if someone is not able to support you with your business, and I mean support in the sense of they'll clap for you or they'll congratulate you, then they are not really someone that should be in your space. And that's an interesting learning curve. If you're founding something, it's really important to surround yourself with people that inspire you, that keep you motivated, keep your thought process like clicking all the time. And I wish more people knew that they should surround themselves with people that they align with and that align with them.
Yeah. And how did you deal with that personally? So friends who are maybe you're not allowed with anymore. And
I mean, it's just a part of life. Yeah. Even as a child, you can lose friends if you move country or something happens and the dynamic is not what it used to be anymore. I'm very happy that we still share a brain cell. But yes, it's just something that you have to accept and move on with. And you will see that there are many other opportunities where you can gain friendships from or support. Yeah. Relying on,
What do you think do people underestimate most about building something? And the second question would be also, how did you deal with fear and uncertainty? I mean,
we don't.
Not really,
I feel like the reason why we work so well together is because we share a lot of the same values. So I'm also not scared. I think people are too scared of failing, but failing or receiving a no is just making you one step closer to a yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And the more you are comfortable with this kind of negative outcome or expectation or whatever, the easier it will be to pursue your dream. If you have this clarity in your head, then it'll be easy. You just have to keep reminding yourself why you're doing something, your end goal, and then you will see that eventually your end goal you're gonna achieve it, and then you're gonna have another goal. And another goal and another goal. And it's just going to be amazing. And the fact that we get to share this with the world, even with this podcast, is fantastic. And to be honest, couldn't wish for
consistency. I would say people underestimate how consistent you need to be. And I had to tell this to myself. Because it's better to take 10 minutes of your time to work on your company or whatever you want to organization every day than one day saying, I'm going to do this today for 24 hours. And then you're born out. At least that happens to me. Like, and I'm like, I cannot think about this anymore. And I'm sick of it and blah, blah, blah. Instead, if I just do 10 minutes every day or 10 minutes every week, but I am there every week, every day, every whatever I choose to do, it will bring you what you want. It takes time, yes, but better late than never. So I would say the power of consistency and not giving up and saying, okay, this is something that I'm not achieving yet, but I'm going to achieve it at some point. And if it's not then this is this. And then there's like taking all of the paths that you can take.
And vision boards are amazing for any person, not just founders. I think we both do it every year at the end of like 31st of December. At least I create my vision board for how I want my future year to look like. And it's amazing how I try to be as specific as possible, writing down, people that I want to collaborate with, where I want to go, holidays, things I want to achieve, like peace and whatever. And it's amazing how much is actually achieved within that time. And
because
that you can
provides you clarity.
Yeah. So it's really important that you have a vision for where you want to be. And then you follow your instincts. You can make mistakes. Everyone is human. It's okay. In the end, we're on a floating rock in space.
Yep.
And I think that's also why, like, we're rarely embarrassed. We're quite we're confident in everything we do, and we believe in ourselves more than anyone else is going to believe in us.
Yeah.
So we just do. So we just do.
Period.
Yeah.
Since you both are co-founders, how do you see your roles in NIWA? How do you share responsibilities?
Well, I love that because we are so in sync. It's weird. I don't know if this happens to everyone who has co-founded with someone, but when she's super happy and I'm pissed off, then she manages, for example, communication with people, because we know that I will not be doing it correctly.
And I know
and the
that
other way
she's
around.
pissed off because she will write okay instead of okay. And I will do the same when I'm having a bad day or I'm in a not so amazing mood.
Or we're like, and then I'm super happy and she's pissed off. And then I'm like, okay, then I manage this. Then, I don't know, we have a meeting, but as I said, I have a full-time job and I'm like, I cannot go to this meeting because I'm going to that other meeting. Can you manage? And she's like, yes. And then she's like, hey, I'm sick. I cannot come. Can you manage? Yes, of course. I'm already here. Let's do it. So we communicate, as I said, literally 24/7. I don't know how long has been the longest gap that we don't communicate. Probably like
we tell each other
when
all
we
our
sleep.
Thoughts. Yeah, we tell each other all our thoughts. We're in sync naturally, and it's phenomenal. And sometimes we communicate with just a look.
Yeah,
and people are like, "How did you do that?"
Yeah, I think the longest we don't communicate is when we're sleeping.
Yes,
literally. So this is very important, and also very important not to take things personal, because sometimes I don't answer in like the most nice way, but I know she knows me and I know that she knows it's not personal.
Vice versa.
And the other way around, exactly. Sometimes, some days she wakes up and she doesn't say good morning, which is weird because I'm not expecting her to say good morning. And she's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you good morning. I was like, I don't give a f***. Like, I don't care about you telling me. I know it's not about you being nice to me or not. I know you, like, so not taking personal things. And so that this is how we manage things. Some people in the team naturally come to me. Some people naturally come to her. Yeah. So they talk to her and then she tells me, hey, this is a situation. What do we do? And I'm like, okay, so this is a situation from this side. What do we do? But we are always communicating. So we also have had instances in which people outside agents come to me and tell me things about her in order to make me pissed. But I know that I tell her everything. So it's like.
And it's flattering. Thank you.
So this is how we manage things. She is better at some things. I'm better at other things. Mm-hmm. So I obviously manage more things that had to do with my skills like HR and all of these things, she's always like, how do I give feedback? How do I blah, blah, blah? And then I tell her, and she manages also the things like now she's doing the catering for our Sprechen Success, our event in the 8th of March. So we always go to where our skills are good. Yes. But the most important thing is that we always, always, always communicating.
How do you handle disagreements, or are there any disagreements at all?
Very rarely. Very rarely.
Rarely.
We recently had this question where like someone asked us, do you ever fight? And we were like, not really. Even when I can tell you, when I have not been super happy with anything that she has ever done, I have told her, we are both very direct people. So I told her, this annoyed me because of this. And I would like it not to happen again, or how can we make it so that it doesn't happen again? I believe any problem is not me against her, is her and me against the problem. And that is very important because I never assume she has bad intentions. So I know that if something happened, same for me, if something happened on my side, it was not because I had a bad intention with her or anyone. It's about, I f***ed up.
Yeah.
And we f***ed up, and that's normal. So it is always, okay, we are NIWA. So if she would say or do something, I would also take responsibility for it, for her, because we are both a team. And I think that's the most important part of not having disagreements. Even when we have a disagreement, it's not me against her, it's both of us against the problem. And that's how we see it.
And the disagreements are usually quite small.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing scandalous. And like you said, it's important to realize that we're not doing it to hurt one another.
Very important.
Or anyone.
I value her opinion a lot. So it's very important to co-found with someone you really admire. Because when I say, I want this, and she's like, I don't think this is a good idea, I'm like, if she's saying it's because she has a reason. And I just ask, why? Why do you think that? That always happens. She's like, no, and I'm why? Or the other way around. Yeah. And then she's like, because of this. And I'm like, something, you have a point. Or I'm like, no, this is not what I think. Blah, blah. But we are always, I think we admire each other. And that also help us not have disagreements or not making it big. Because whatever she thinks, I really, really respect and value.
Yeah, can vouch for the same. You said it perfectly. Yeah, basically.
Maybe since you're working in HR, it's kind of related, I guess. But I guess that there are many people out there who want to create and found something and need a partner to do so. What would you advise to people when they're looking for a co-founder?
It should be a Sagittarius. No, I'm just kidding.
Look at your zodiac.
When we first met, the match was extremely clear. Like, she came into the room, she sat down next to me, and I started talking about how I would normally talk to the two other people in the office. So I was very happy when there was a third. And then I turned and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm just treating you like I would treat everyone else here. And I talk a lot about feminist issues and feminism. And this is a moment is drilled in my mind. She picks up her bag, takes out a book, and puts it like this on the desk. And she's like, read this. And the book is Invisible Women
by Caroline Perez.
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, wow. And then at that time, I was the vice president of business development, and Estefania was part of the team. And I went home and I told my boyfriend, like, is it unprofessional that I want to be best friends with this person? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. And from that moment on, I knew that whatever happened, we would be completely compatible because we bonded already so much over such a small gesture from hers that I think, kind of like when you find the right partner or whatever, like if you know, it's going to be easy. It was like nothing about us being friends or colleagues or co-founders was difficult.
But it's such a strong value, right? So we bonded over, again, values, very, very strong ones. Not just like, I like brunch. That's not a value. Like a value, morals. Like, what are your moral grounds? And you have to share most of your moral grounds. at least the most important ones, or at least the ones that are related to your company or your organization, first of all. Second of all, we worked together months and months and months, and I saw that she was doing whatever she had to do, which is something a lot of people don't do. And I admire her. I think that's very, very important. I value her opinion. So you have to observe what the other person does. Sometimes people ask me, they have asked us so many times to be co-founders of other things. Yes. And we always say no, because for me, it's like, I don't know you. Like, I don't know. Even if you tell me what your values are, I need to see your values in action. And that's what happened also with the book, for example. Yeah.
But do you think that besides from the values, like knowledge and background, also like important?
No. I think everyone can learn any skill.
We didn't know, Shane.
No, exactly. And that's what we also try to convey to our team and anyone who comes to our events. If you have your mindset on something, you can achieve it. And NIWA, especially being in the NIWA team, allows you to make mistakes. We are not there to like scold anyone or say anything negative if someone makes a mistake, because we make mistakes and it's normal. And it's something that will help you in the future. And then you realize, okay, like I've done this before. I should maybe try it this way. And that's very important.
Yep.
We already mentioned a bit like feminism, women in business. I would like to know if you have ever experienced moments where you, women being founders, were perceived differently.
Yes and no. I mean, I would say, when we worked being founders, I'm going to talk about being founders because that's a different thing. I have the feeling that people don't underestimate us for being women, but they want us to be part of their projects because they feel like we have the female characteristics that they're lacking, in which sense is talking to people and being open and being there. And I have had people, by people I mean men, literally telling me that you're going to be like the one talking to people and the one making the connections because I'm a man and I'm maybe not so charismatic as you are and blah, blah, blah. And they just want to put me there like a piece of, of attracting funding just because I'm a woman, which is not true. And I think like some men think that women get more funding because of how we look or how we do things.
I wish that was the case.
I wish that was the case. But no. So I think for me, that has been the thing. It didn't happen at the beginning because we were not as big to be noticed in that sense. So no one ever underestimated us. And I also think it is because we have very strong personalities. So if you underestimate me for 1 second, I'm just going to block you from my brain. So I don't perceive those things and I just go to where I am valued. But later, when we got a little bit more seen, I realized that we were invited to a lot of projects to be the face of the project because they wanted this charisma, whatever thing from us. And it is because we're women. Yeah. So that's my perception.
I agree, and I can't think of any other instances where we've experienced such a bias. It was more when we were working that we experienced way more. That was insane. Way more bias. It was, for example, I was head of business development, and we managed over 400 different contacts and countries. Obviously, not 400 countries, and there we would get our job was operations and business development, and we would get messages from people aging from 18 to honestly 80 saying like, hey, this is my poolside during the morning, and this is my poolside at night.
Clients would love to flirting with us all the time. Clients telling us, sweetie, you don't understand the issue, can I talk to your boss? Because the boss was a guy. But I was like, first of all, don't call me sweetie. We are in a business environment. Second of all, don't send me a rose emoji with your message. And third of all, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. If I'm telling you this is because I already spoke to my boss and he told me this. No, you don't know. You need to let me talk to him, sweetie. That
so many times.
We were working in engineering and energy industry, so it was intense. It was intense, and also we were 3 women and 1 man plus the boss, and the man was paid exponentially way more than all of us. That's why I left. Yeah,
that's why I followed.
Do you think, or since you're like a face for women, for especially founders, female founders, do you feel any kind of pressure?
No,
because of that.
Oh, sorry, I don't.
No, me neither.
We are, and I feel like I'm talking for both of us. We are living our dream life, and we are setting ourselves goals that we want to achieve. And we are not embarrassed. We are not scared of making mistakes. We'll happily hop and laugh on the street and kind of perceive that other people are looking at us like, hey, what's going on? But literally, like, I'm not looking at them. I'm not perceiving them. I'm in my little bubble or our little bubble or whoever I'm with in that little bubble. And I think more people should adopt this kind of mentality, because you think that people are watching you. Maybe they are, but they're going to forget about it really soon. And you should just live life the way you want to live life, whatever that means. Of course, preferably not causing harm to anyone. But you should just do what you want to do. Believe in yourself.
We are always, or at least I am always trying to show other women that we have so many feelings. Like, I have a TED Talk and TEDx Talk, and it is about crying. It's about the power of crying, because I cry all the time, and I'm not ashamed, as you say. I'm not embarrassed to say it, because crying is very good. And I worked very hard throughout my life to accept that having negative emotions is okay, and that you just need to learn to regulate them, not even control them. You cannot control emotions. So by accepting these negative parts of me, and I also stopped being a people pleaser, for example, and accepted that not everyone's gonna like me, and because I don't like everyone. Why would everyone like me, So through accepting all of these things, I also don't feel these things like a pressure. I feel them like an honor. I feel honored that people look up to us and ask for our opinion and value it. But it's because I have accepted myself first.
How would you change how ecosystems treat female founders or entrepreneurs, if you could?
I think in general, we need more representation.
Yes.
Like in everything, I'm, for example, so happy that the Winter Olympics shone so much light on the female athletes, also on the men, of course, but for a change, so much attention was dedicated to the women that were competing. And I wish more people did the same, took the time to appreciate, not just in the founder realm, but everywhere, the women that are helping to build something, whether it's your employee, whether it's your boss, whether it's your family, your friends, random people that you meet on the street. Everyone needs that extra bit of appreciation. But since women have systematically been oppressed for so long, we should try as much as possible to shine light on...
Take space.
Yeah, take space, shine light on amazing achievements by women, no matter in what field. And hopefully with that, within the whole founder ecosystem, we will grow more and more. I also think it's very important to give more funding to women-led initiatives. I think in Austria, it's just 2% of companies that are female-led or female-founded that receive funding. So there's a lot to be done. Austria is also, I think, the last or penultimate country in the European Union with the largest gender pay gap, which is more than 18%, comparing it to 10% of the European average union. So there's a lot of work to be done, especially in this country.
I wish our achievements were not so underestimated, but also by ourselves. And I include us in that, because, as I said, we were doing this amazing thing and we didn't even realize, and we were not like, look what I do and look what I achieved and blah blah blah. And because we do it, other people also do it, and for other reasons as well that are systemic. But I think, and that is something I can go back a little bit to how people perceive you as a woman. If you're a confident woman who celebrates her achievements and shares them with the world, you are perceived as a cocky, arrogant. Now, I am fully okay with being perceived like that. But in an ideal world, I would not be a bitch just for being who I am, because if I were a man, quoting Taylor Swift, it would be completely different, the perception. I would be the boss of bosses. I am the boss of bosses, factually. But if you see me saying that, you will say, I'm sorry that I'm swearing a lot. Is that bad? Yeah. I'm swearing a lot. Is that bad?
Oh.
Okay, cool.
It scientifically means you're intelligent.
Oh, cool. So that is important. Stop undermining women's achievements and stop undermining when we celebrate them. That would be something I would like to see in the founding scene.
Maybe last question to that. If you could put one law in Austria to foster the development of women, what would it be?
I believe in quotas. I know that's a controversial opinion. Should not be. But I have had this conversation with my father. My father is one of my, examples to follow. He's a very smart person. So we have a lot of smart conversations. And we had the conversation about quota. And he said, yeah, but you should give the thing, let's say the funding, to the people who deserve it, right? Not see if they are a man or a woman. What if it's a woman who doesn't deserve it? And I'm like, I get your point, but we need to go back. And I always say this with every single item, every single issue that we have as a society. Don't stay in the shallowness of it. The shallowness of it is people should get what they deserve according to how much they work or whatever meritocracy thing you have. But the reality is that we as women cannot achieve those things if the system is against us all the time. So I believe in quota. Give your funding at least to 50% to women. Now there's if you go to, for example, the incubators, normally they give a little bit more funding if at least 25% of the team is female, yada, yada, yada. What happens? A lot of people just bring one woman into their team for the vibes. Hence us sometimes asking us to be there. It should be only for women. And then what happens? Yeah, but what if they are not prepared? You prepare them.
Yeah.
You take the time to prepare them and to give them the tools that the world has not given to them. So that would be my law.
I would also launch more investigations within companies because I know one too many instances where there is not super legal business going on within boss employee or organization employee wise. And I have experienced myself, as well as knowing many women that were in similar situations, where we had very difficult and intense discussions with HR departments. For example, I was being paid the same amount despite having much better qualifications than my male counterpart, who was an intern, whilst I was a sales manager at a certain Austrian company. Which I won't mention. So I think investigations should be launched because the support is not there when I try to ask the director for more, because I don't like being in situations where I'm not valued. So I went to HR, I went to the director, I complained, I protested, I gave my explanations on why I think this is unfair. And in the end, that resulted in no solution from their side. Yeah. So I quit, I left. And that's why I think more investigations should be made to say that.
That's it. The EU directive in pay transparency is coming into power soon. But it's only for companies above 50 employees. So I would also do it for any company, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But also the thing that smaller companies don't have to publish their financial data in general. Data.
Yes.
So that's a bigger problem. Yeah, I was
the question who becomes aware of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much. It was really interesting. I totally agree that there's still a lot to do and to go in front of us. I want to zoom out now a bit and have maybe a more societal view on all of this. Since like 8th of March is approaching the International Women's Day. And we see, of course, horrible things, what's happening with the Epstein. Catastrophic. Without a doubt, it's very good, the development that women had now in the recent years, and there's a lot to go. I now want to ask you, what do you think about the topic that is now also rising, like the toxic masculinity? Mm-hmm. Like, you've probably heard about the whole and your Tate stuff and things that men are maybe now, seeing this guy and feeling like kind of connected or whatever.
Yeah. It's very sad.
And go ahead. And maybe this is because also maybe men feel, I don't know, lonely, feel behind a bit. What is your view on this?
I feel like women have been behind, so to say, systemically all their lives. Mm. A big reason why our friendships are so strong and our communities are so strong is because we didn't have much. Yeah. We didn't have much else to contribute to. We weren't allowed. Women only had access to bank accounts in the 1970s. Like my mom was born and she couldn't have a bank account. My grandma still doesn't have a bank account. And these are people that are still alive in my generation, in my family. So we managed to live somewhat happy lives within our communities. And
without mass shooting anyone.
Yes, and I have anger towards these unfair situations that we live or that other women around us live. And until every woman is free, we are all in shackles. Yep. So the fact that certain men with bad ideologies, with hatred towards 50% of the world's population, that brings life into the world. I do not agree with those guys, and I'm saddened to see so many young men or children even following in their footsteps. I think we should shine light on women and men who actually do good for the world, and that is the easiest solution, and try to ban everyone else with a microphone that shouldn't have a microphone. So I'm very happy that you have a microphone and that we are able to share our thoughts on that.
I am also very angry at the system that has brought us to this point. But being an organization only for women, if we had euro every time a man comes to us and asks us, why don't you do Network for International Men in Austria? And our answer is all the time, why don't you? Mm. And I have once a conversation where he told me, I don't have the time. And I was like, do you think I do? Like, no one has the time. You have the time when you want to have the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
You make yourself the time. And women are one of the very few discriminated groups that is asked time and time again to side with their oppressor, which is men. You would not ask poor people to side with rich people. You would not ask black people to side with white people and be like, but black people, you should help white people not to be alone. They are so lonely after years of slavery. You know what I mean? And that happens to women. Simone de Beauvoir, she's the one with the theory. It's not a theory, it's a fact. But yeah, if you read The Second Gender from Simone de Beauvoir, it will open your mind. Because women are the only oppressed group that is always asked to side with their oppressor and solve their issues. So am I angry about this? Of course I'm angry. Do I believe that we should collaborate together and blah, 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 and da, da, da. You make your own solutions and then you come with the solutions from your group and you tell us how you did better as men. That's my position. I don't believe in, no, let's help them. Let's be nice to them. We were killed systemically for years and years and years. Don't ask me to side with that oppressor group. Am I going to kill you back? No, we don't do those things. We don't do mass shootings. We don't do rapes and things like that. Like the population in jails, who is it? Is mostly men. Who created this system? Mostly men. So am I going to be vengeful against you? No, but you do need to solve your own issues as we do with our own. Until then, I will take my precautions because I'm not going to side with my oppressor.
And I think more governments as well should stop taking things away from women. So as an example, last week, Italy voted to change the maternity leave. It used to be 5 mandatory months for women and 10 days for men. And the whole government is saying, yes, but we need more children. Our population is dying. And instead of voting for the reform that would help both men and women spend more time with their children, give more money to children, they voted against it, giving the woman an even greater burden of having a child, raising the child, having no help from their partner because the partner is not able to take time off work. And there are so many other examples that I could name right now, but we don't have the time. Where there could be so many more options, so many more solutions, and
I want to see men fighting for those solutions.
Yeah.
That would be my next question. What advice would you give to young men who are not like those kind of men who follow Andrew Tate and stuff like that, and who really want to help women and be a good man and be whatever that means, of course.
Follow in women's footsteps.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason why LGBTQ has an L at the beginning is because when there was the AIDS spread and epidemic, the lesbians of those parts of the world were the ones that were wanting to help, wanting to donate blood, wanting to be with people, with men that had HIV and AIDS and suffered from this horrible, malatia virus. And men could now do the same. They could either, go march with all the protests, start a protest, continue or start talking to people that make sexist or racist or whatever kind of comments, shout them out. When you're in a meeting and there's like 10 men and 1 woman, which is really quite too often the case, don't accept that the woman will take notes. Don't accept that the woman is the secretary suddenly. Yeah. Take action. Look at the world. Look at what women are doing for you and do the same for them. What else?
My advice is take your head out of your butt. That's my advice, because a lot of the times it's like, acknowledge that you have a privilege just for existing as a man. I exist, for example, I am Mexican, and I know that in Mexico I have fairly lighter skin than the average population. And that gives me access to a lot of things. That gives me a lot of privilege, a lot. And I know it. And when someone say, all of the white, we are called, what is white-sican? And when someone says, all of the white-sicans should not do this, not do that, I'm like, yes, if that includes me, let's do it. Because if my sacrifice involves the liberation of the whole group, I will sacrifice it. And men mostly don't do that. So I would say, acknowledge that even if you're the best man ever, just because you are a man in this society, you already have a step forward than anyone else. And then do something to acknowledge that and realize that it's not just about you, it's about the whole society.
Yeah, and everyone is affected by the patriarchy. This is what people that listen to Andrew Tate need to understand, that they are feeding into this void of words.
Andrew Tate seems the most miserable person in the world. I'm sorry.
And they follow him and they admire him and they run a chase after these podcasters and YouTubers that actually do nothing. And they could instead be making a difference in the world.
And having fulfilling partnerships, fulfilling friendships, fulfilling everything. Yes. Like that's it.
It could only lead to positive things.
No, I agree. But actually, most of those things are logical, right? I mean, should be.
Should be.
Well, thank you so much so far. We approaching the end of this podcast, and I have now 5 questions left, who are always my final questions. It would be great if you could answer them as briefly as possible.
Yes.
And so that we finish off the first question. What is the most valuable advice you have been ever given or received?
My mom always told me if I was upset with someone that they're jealous of me. And I have been living with that idea for a lot of my life. And maybe it's not the best advice, but it's one that stuck with
it's
me.
Valuable.
Yeah, it's valuable. And it's something that stuck with me. So shout out to my mom for making me honestly more confident. I feel like instead of, and just focusing on myself, and that people will judge anyway. So just be yourself and only good things can happen.
Mine is guilt is masturbation of the ego. That's my favorite advice ever. I spent a lot of time feeling guilty until I realized it was just me thinking about me. And yeah, when you say I feel guilty all the time, it's that I did, blah, blah, blah. Well, get your head out of your butt.
Everyone should.
On the other hand, what would be the worst advice you've been followed for too long?
That's
not trusting my instinct. Yeah. Yep.
I can't think of one right now. Sorry, but yes.
What is something you're currently struggling with? Even most people wouldn't expect it.
Time management. Everyone is all the time asking me how I do everything.
Okay.
And to be honest, I do everything, but sometimes I'm like, I came here and I was running and I had to run to the supermarket to buy a yogurt because if I don't eat, I get hungry. So, time management is still something that I struggle with, even though everyone thinks I have 48 hours in my day. Now I started asking the question back saying, when people ask me, how do you manage everything? I say, what do you do with your day?
Yes.
And normally the answer is scrolling on my phone. So I also scroll, but I try to reduce it as much as possible.
I would say the same. Time management, because if you look at my Instagram stories, it's like, okay, right now I'm doing this, and then I'm on the other side of town, and then I'm in a different country, and then I'm giving a workshop, and then blah, blah, blah. And people probably think I'm just like on holiday and frolicking all the time. And I'm like, no, I'm doing so many things because so many opportunities open and I create them and everything. But it is difficult to not get to that burnout point or not get to the point where you're like, oh my God, I need to rush everywhere.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own project, their entrepreneurial journey, or being a freelancer, whatever, but feels paralyzed by fear?
Don't wait for things to be perfect because they will never be. Just start. Just do it. Don't think. I always say, don't think, do. Don't think, do.
Everything will change anyways. Like it's the first product you launch on the first week or a service or whatever is not going to be the same 1 year from then. When we started NIWA, it was just a bunch of documents that we would share to people, a bunch of blogs that people could access and online workshops. And now it's huge events and event spaces, an amazing community where people can ask each other any question ranging from I need a hairdresser to I need legal advice, and people are there to help. So no matter what you set out to do, start and just continue growing as you would, and then you'll see what happens, and it will probably be the best possible outcome.
My last question. What advice would you give to women who feel not ready to start?
Come to Sprechen Sie Success on the 7th and 8th of March at Reactor and the Social Hub. Join NIWA or join a similar community that helps you. We are in more than 1,000 women right now who are helping each other on a day-to-day basis. We come together. We are kind of like your bed to fall back on if you're struggling. I'm sure there will be someone that has lived or is going through the same thing as you right now. And it's important that even if you feel lonely, you're not alone.
Yeah, I think because it's very difficult to give advice. You know, when you're sad and someone tells you, just don't be sad. It's kind of like that. Just do it. Yeah, I get it. I get it on myself as well. Surround yourself by people who are already where you want to be or who are already someone you admire. Just talk to them, go to the events with them, make them your friends. Someone texted me on LinkedIn. I have not answered. Sorry, I will answer soon. But she added me to the network, and then she said, I made a commitment to actually connect with people. So do you have time for 5 minutes, for a 5-10 minute call or a coffee? I thought that was amazing. Mm-hmm. Sorry that I haven't answered, but I will. And I think you're amazing for doing that. So surround yourself by people who do what you want to do, who are where you want to be, and who you admired. That will naturally bring the thoughts into your head.
Well, thank you, Estefania and Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Jason.
I think you're doing a great thing with NIWA. You're helping so many women, and we probably need much more of that. And yeah, thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks to you for inviting us.
Yes, and for giving us this platform.
Yeah.
And congratulations on your podcast.
Yes.
Yes.